Hello everyone, my name is Jenny and I'm an astrologer, and I'd like to say welcome to everyone who is here for the first time and welcome back to everyone else. Thank you so much for sharing and subscribing and liking and commenting on my videos. I do appreciate that. It helps with the algorithms on YouTube. I wanted to just let you know that tomorrow, which will be Sunday the 10th, I will upload the Facebook video that was about 10 minutes long. I was talking about the 4th, 8th, and 12th houses. I'm going to upload that to Vimeo. There won't be a charge, but on this platform, because a lot of people watch me for astrology, I tend to get fewer views with that kind of thing, like a short little... and that kind of hurts me with the algorithms if I upload just a 10-minute video because not that many people will watch it. So I'm going to put it on Vimeo. It'll be free. My Vimeo information, along with every other way to get a hold of me and how to schedule an appointment with me, is all in the description box below where it says show more. So today we're going to talk about the 1111 gateway and the full moon in Taurus. We have really amazing energy coming online right now, and so we're going to go into that. And most of the astrology for November is in the November video, but this definitely deserved its own video. This is a very powerful time. The Scorpio season is Pluto rules Scorpio, and Pluto is the planet of power. This is a time of transformation where old things die away and then we rise again. We rise anew to a new reality. It's about letting go of the ego self and claiming the higher self, the frequency of pure unconditional love that you are, where that aspect of you, allowing that aspect of you to run the show, so to speak, to steer your ship, and giving up the old ways of ego that no longer serve us. It's also a time, because of what's happening in the astrology, when you can see that we're shifting, we're having like a paradigm shift right now. And always when that is going on, you'll feel like something is being lost. There's a loss that can be felt. It can just be like a feeling of sadness that we're experiencing, or you could be going through some sort of loss. So I sat down to make the video, I believed, with Metatron, and then Mary Magdalene was like, hey, maybe I'll do the video with you. And I was like, okay. So I have everyone here, Isis, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Shamuel, Gabriel. I can't really, Mary Salome. I don't want to list like everyone who's here. But for those of you that don't know, the Divine Sophia is the feminine, what we call the the feminine God, aspect of God, I should say. So I'm going to try to get into the habit now of saying she when I refer to the creator instead of he. I used to do that, and I think I'm going to go back to that. And that's a lot of the astrology that we have now is about the rise of the divine feminine. And what does that mean? It doesn't so much mean that there will be like just a, inordinate amount of female leaders. I mean, that probably will be part of it. But the rise of the feminine is when we stop going to war and fighting for who is the smartest, who is the best, who is she's saying tallest, it's about surrendering like that lower mentality of battling. It has nothing to do with a man or a woman. That's something that we all have within us, the masculine and the feminine. When we feel like we're right and we need to make sure that everyone else has our opinion. This is going to be more about, a place of surrender and peace. Just like Jesus, turning the other cheek, just really not even, like I always say, like not having a dog in the fight. If it's not something that concerns us personally, we're always asked to choose peace. Now, someone said on another video, does that mean that we should just sit silent? No, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in not exercising your right to vote. and getting involved as much as you can. I mean, going to rallies, I've certainly been to a lot of those in my life, going to marches, I've done that as well. And, you know, we want to always make sure that we're participating. Yeah, she's saying it isn't about your voice not being heard or not allowing your voice to be heard. She's saying it's the energy that you're using when you become involved in those issues that makes a difference. I posted a picture not too long ago, or maybe I didn't, but it's been going around on Facebook for a while about the new way to protest. And it's just people standing silently and just standing in the streets and not like the screaming and lighting things on fire. And, you know, that's what we're shifting toward. Okay. It's not like an easy shift. It's not going to happen in a day. We'd already started, as far as I'm concerned, about 2012 or 2012. That's when I believe that we started to have that shift, maybe 2011. But now we're moving toward it, she's saying, with a sense of urgency. Like it's really, we're all, you know, we're coming into that more and more now. We're going to see that happening. And as we've been dealing with all year, this Saturn South Node Pluto conjunction, that's like the lower energy of the patriarchy. And I know people have expressed to me like, oh, you know, Jupiter is going into Capricorn. Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn. So it may, you know, we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. So long as the South Node is there, you are picking up the lower energies. Jupiter doesn't sweep all of that away. He is about truth and justice, but we'll see what happens when he's in Capricorn, you know, debilitated there. He may be just exacerbating because he emphasizes the energy of whatever he's with. So that may just be exacerbated by his transit there. We'll have to wait and see. You know, 2020 that happens January 12th, 2020, but that energy isn't, you know, like done in a day. And then during, you know, 2020 is a 4. That is Uranus. So we'll see how all of this is going to work out together. But let's get back to the 1111 gateway. And I'm going to just show you, this chart is for the full moon, basically the same chart, except the moon it's in a different place. Mercury has moved just a little bit. You see at the top of the chart there in the 8th house, Mercury, the guy with the antennas on his head, and with the little R next to him for retrograde. He is with the sun. And then opposing, always during the full moon, is the moon. The moon is with Vesta and Heimdal. And they are all three sharing 19 degrees and change of Taurus. So Vesta relates to the energy of the high priestess. In Demetra George and Douglas Block, I recommend this book, Asteroid Goddesses. I picked this up at a conference where I saw her a few years ago. And she has a fabulous write-up about Vesta. Vesta was, and I believe because they wiped out a lot of the history, she was just given to Virgo as the ruler, because Virgo is the sign of the Virgin. But Vesta, she believes, and I agree with her, that Vesta also has rulership in Scorpio, because it's you know, about sex. She had to do with the Vestal Virgins. The Vestal Virgins guarded the fires of her temple, and she was the goddess of hearth and home. But they sort of have like erased in some texts. They have erased the fact that those high priestesses were practicing the sacred teachings of Isis and bringing sexual healing, using their sacral chakra as a way of healing others. And what they spoke to me about this week was that because of that time when women were so revered and seen to be so powerful, that men were intimidated by them, that some men felt that they had more power and therefore didn't want so much to do with them. And so she's saying, as a trade-off to be in partnership then with the masculine, a lot of the women started giving away their power, allowing their power to be taken. So this is about the feminine coming back into her power. And Heimdal is it means the guard of the bridge between heaven and earth. It's the energy of Archangel Metatron, which I believe, is we're all interconnected. I'm not going to say that's the one asteroid that signifies him, but that is the one that he led me to. When I do readings, that's the asteroid that I use. I'll put that in the description box as well for his asteroid number if you want to look that up in your own chart. But we're talking about a shift here. If you notice, so Mercury rules cycles, okay? And if you look at the long blue line that goes from Mercury and the sun down to Neptune, spirit, okay? And that is retrograde. And then in the middle of them, when you look at those shorter blue lines, those sextiles are over up to the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and Saturn is Father Time. He rules time. So you can see in the astrology that we are coming to the end of a cycle, that we're being given new marching orders, that now all of us, individually, of course, there's different timelines that we get on and off and all of that stuff. But this is for the human consciousness, she's saying that this signifies a shift. And also, just want to note, for those of you who are on the twin flame journey, the asteroid union is at 15 degrees of Libra. That begins the Via Combusta, the path of fire. And Mars is in a semi-square with Venus there in Sagittarius, but he is sextile Jupiter. So that is a very good indication that now, if we were told we were going to meet up at a certain time and then that didn't work out, that we're beginning a whole new course of action is what they're saying. So a whole new cycle with that too, where you are each working through things individually that need to be fixed up before you can come together. And what they've been speaking to me about is that at this time when we see things moving away, it was actually during the Mercury retrograde in Pisces that I saw a dream. Maybe I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but what I saw was a lot of things, opportunities, and ways that I thought that I was going to reach my goal leaving me and going off, and I couldn't leave where I was to catch up with them. I still needed to do some work. And so I went through a really, sad time when I felt like I had lost everything. I felt like, oh, I really screwed up now. That's it. No, it wasn't that bad. But I did feel an emotional loss because I am always in those other timelines and I'm so close to what is going on other places. It was quite a loss for me. And I spoke about it, that I went through a time of depression. But what Metatron was saying was that when that in opportunities, he's saying opportunities are never lost. So what happens is where I was, let's use me, in my journey, or where we are, okay, and where our vibration is and what you think that you're worth, you're calling in the opportunities that match that vibration. Chances are that once a part of us heals, okay, once that is healed, and it's not chances are, it's absolute, that once we have a better sense of our self-worth and our structure is down, we have our routine down, which it means self-care. Once we are paying attention to ourselves and we come into that sense of worthiness and self-value, and we see that we are the most important things in our lives, caring for ourselves first before we're giving ourselves away to everyone around us, then the opportunities and the ways that you're going to reach your goals, they improve as well. Then they match that higher vibration of you, okay? And I have people asking questions like, what is my vibration on this scale, or how am I doing? It doesn't really work like that. There's not a scale or he's saying a magic number that we need to reach. That's part of that old religious teaching where we're earning, and we're being rated by some external authority, and not the true God, not the energy of creation, the Divine Sophia. And I think that masculine is Aeon, but let's just say the Creator's energy. That is just an energy of pure unconditional love that you're a spark of. And the closer that we can come to realizing that is who we truly are, then the better the opportunities are going to that present themselves are going to be for us, the more worthwhile they're going to be. So this is it's a magnificent chart. You've got Saturn in sextile with Neptune, which hasn't happened. I'm not even sure when that happened last, but it was a very, very long time ago. They're each in their own signs. So that's about bringing stability and structure to your dreams. That's about your legacy here on the planet, doing the work of spirit, whatever that is for you on the planet, and it being lasting and something that will be handed down to other generations. And then you've got Mars being our ambition, our drive, in that energy with Jupiter, which is like infinite blessings and gifts. Jupiter also very close to the galactic center, not quite there yet, but he's just got a couple, like 2-3 degrees. So we'll still be in the energy of this full moon when he reaches that point, the galactic center at the end of Sagittarius. So it shows that there's going to be growth. Mars in Libra, not his favorite place to be, but because he tends to lack balance, he's more like going for the gusto all the time. And Libra wants to make sure that things are balanced and in place. That's why, Saturn is exalted in Libra, because in order for us to have a foundation that's lasting, we need to be in balance. And that means equal giving and receiving. That is how we come into the feminine. And it isn't like the men that I work with who have a problem more getting in touch with their feminine side. It's really equal, because most of the time, in the receiving is where there was a wound. We thought that we were going to receive praise and feelings of harmony and nurturing from the caregivers, our primary caregivers. And when that doesn't happen, we learn that what we receive might not be what we're bargaining for. And so we close ourselves off to that receiving. And when Metatron talks about like rebuilding from the bottom up, he's talking about that root chakra and that feeling of safety and being at home. And he's saying being complete. Realizing that you now do the work of nurturing yourself. That is really the only thing that we're responsible for, is taking care of ourselves and our own vibration. And in order to fully embody the light body, 24/7 all the time, we need to be caring for our physical body. That's part of this whole deal. And also making sure that our energy is completely in our body. That's how the frequency of the earth changes. It isn't like a zap that comes from outer space and then there's another earth. It's our vibration of light being grounded, okay, on the planet. That's what raises the frequency, the vibration of the planet. So we're going to be dealing with all of these issues moving forward. And Mercury in Gemini relates to the twins, right? The mortal twin and the immortal twin. So it's like the physical us and then the higher octave of us, the higher vibration, our higher selves. And so this is going to be a lot of messages still, because the 11th is the midway point of the Mercury retrograde cycle. There's still going to be a lot of messages forthcoming with full moons too. It's a revelation. It's something that's exposed that you didn't realize. That's how, and the moon relates to intuition. So something that we recognize, we realize, maybe somebody says something or we hear something being said that just, makes us see like, oh, that's an aspect of ego. That's not what I would like. And ego, it's not like a dirty word, the shadow. Ego is like that part of us that's still broken because we didn't receive the love and the nurturing. It doesn't mean that it's a bad part of us. And part of coming into balance within self and aligning all aspects of self to the highest truth, divine self, the creator's energy, is recognizing that the shadow side, the ego side, is seen as just as valuable and just as important to the creator. The creator doesn't love one aspect of ourself more than another. Another thing that is coming up as far as resistance is the belief that if we surrender ego, that somehow means that we're defeated. And the ego, the Mars in us, doesn't ever want to not be able to rush forward. We want to just be able to go. And when a problem arises, we're like, okay, what can we do to fix this? And sometimes it's just about waiting patiently, he's saying, for the right time, for that time to come. And that's when we, get to kick into gear. So it's really right now with the astrology, still we're in sort of, I don't want to say limbo, because we can have, divine inspiration coming. But he's saying it's she's saying that it's the energy of the hermit, the Virgo energy, going within, taking time, doing what you need to do to care for yourself, to nurture yourself, to recognize that you don't have to stay in a place where you're no longer comfortable to keep everyone else around you happy, that you're worthy and deserving of finding true happiness for yourself, and whether that's a relationship or a job, in whatever situation it is. And I want to also say that when Mercury moves in front of the sun, and we'll be able to see that. I believe that the website is Eurovision. I saw someone else had posted it, and I didn't look at the website. But you can actually see it. I don't think in America we're going to be able to see it, but in a lot of parts of the world, you will be able to see Mercury passing in front of the sun. That happens on 11/11. And it happens at 19 degrees of Scorpio. And 19 degrees of Scorpio, I'm going to first read this is the Omega symbol. So this is, it's so great, you guys. So it's the title of Scorpio 19 is An Angel Kisses a Man While He Sleeps. There is a tremendous receptivity here to the love coming from higher forces. Even in the midst of darkness, this degree carries a subtle light that encourages everything it touches. Even if the person carrying the energy of this degree, which will be all of us, is mired in negativity, there is always an undercurrent of remembrance of the help and guidance that is always reaching out to us. The Chandra symbol for this degree is a rope going up into the sky. Here is a thread connecting us to something higher. What is it anchored to? It must be something far above us which we cannot see. It takes a lot of trust to climb the rope. This degree either has a lot of trust and is willing to climb the rope, or is constantly aware of it, constantly tempted by it, until it accepts the challenge. The Chandra symbol asks the question, will we be safe if we ascend? And the Omega symbol answer is yes. It relates to heaven on earth, fidelity, loyalty, and allegiance. Those are good Scorpio traits: fidelity, loyalty, and allegiance. And then it's on the fixed star, Zubeneschmali. So I'm reading from The Fixed Stars and Constellations in Astrology by Vivian Robson. Okay, so this fixed star is actually, the scales of the Libra constellation. This is the north scale, okay, where this fixed star is found, because in sidereal astrology, this is taking place in Libra. It's a pale emerald star situated in the northern scale of balance. Its proper name is Zubeneschmali, and from Al-Zuban, okay, we don't need a reference to the ancient celestial fear in which Libra was omitted and Scorpio occupied 60 degrees back then when this star was first discovered. According to Ptolemy, it is the nature of Jupiter and Mercury, which is good. And later writers considered it similar to Jupiter and Mars. It gives good fortune, high ambition, beneficence, honor, riches, and permanent happiness. When positioned with the sun, it gives great fortune, high position, transitory difficulties, eventually proving beneficial. So we may have, like, when you look at all of the retrogrades involved in the configuration, there may be a snag, okay? Or like Metatron's been, working with me on to expecting the unexpected is what he's saying. A lot of that going on for me. But also, if you have an idea of how it is that you're going to reach your goal, remember the many paths card that we pulled before? This is that same energy where you may be surprised by the opportunities that come up. Just trust your discernment. Okay, and I don't mean like within the next week or two. I mean, this is the energy that we're going to be working with for a while. So whatever presents itself in the near future, I'm seeing what he's showing me is about 3, 4, 5 months even. If an opportunity comes up that is surprising to you, you weren't like thinking that wasn't like part of your thought process, but it seems good. Always, of course, take your time and not rushing in. But, we're working through that Saturn-Pluto South Node energy, but we need to tie up the old stories, and allow things to fall away that no longer serve us. And so I pulled some cards. I bought... Oh, wait, you know what? I forgot. I wanted to read this too. So that was for the 1111 gateway. That's the energy that we're working with. And like I said, the next day, the sun and Mercury are still very close to that fixed star. But the moon is actually in Taurus. That's where the full moon is going to be. That's where the moon is exalted. The goddess is exalted in the other goddess. When the astrologers, just assigned masculine and feminine to the planets, we got the moon and we got Venus as women, as the feminine, and the moon likes to, be nurtured and safe and warm. And Taurus, Venus, the sign of Taurus, is where she loves that, because a lot of times we find comfort in certain foods, and just like relaxing, taking our time. And that's like the moon, the emotional side of you. And that's where she likes to be, in Taurus. Taurus is like, I always say, it's like the sign of the cow chewing the cud, like very, very slowly, right? Taking time to digest. He's saying, taking time to digest all of the flavors, Mary Magdalene is saying, because of course she always points us to the effervescence of life, she always says, and appreciate the beauty that surrounds us all of the time. That's another way to like encourage yourself anytime, is just looking around and appreciating the beauty around you and in your family, in your home. And she likes to take her time savoring the flavors and also relaxing. She's bringing us back to rest. A lot of that's still happening for us as well, where we're resting to get ready to move to the next phase. And she's saying, waiting for the inspiration to like come to us or to hit us, like not hit us, but yeah, she's saying like that sort of energy where it could be just like a flash of, wow, I hadn't thought of it that way. So Taurus, these 2 degrees are where the moon is going to be. So I'm going to read first the Karmic Degree, which is 19. It is a crown turns into goat horns. A remarkable instinct for the next lesson. Finding it, learning it, and drawing everything out of it that you can. Specialized in destiny, activation, and interested in nothing else. Purposefully driven to take up karmic lessons all the way. Wildly given over to what is taken on. Working the territory as hard as you can. making way for something new by wearing out the old. That's just like how things are going to fall away so that we can, go into the next. Or like sometimes it may not be a choice. It may just be like something ends and we didn't see it coming. Assigned to a tough situation, yet knowing it is appropriate. Super strong and especially tenacious and relentless. In deepest essence, giving yourself to something that can happen here that is going to take a lot of doing. And inside it all, you are curiously resigned to whatever arises, not very concerned, because long-range results mean everything here. At a moment's I'm not going to say that. Or at a moment's discomfort is a small price to pay when destiny is truly involved. And then 20, this is the degree that we're moving toward. It is a fork in the road with a blank signpost. Getting inside of things, discovering what they are like. When you have no idea any longer and you want out of things or where anything is really going. All the riches of subtle texture can only begin to arise now and to touch your soul. This journey has gone on forever. But now the deep earth calls you once again and you cannot refuse. All roads lead to this same place where it all flips over and you're tumbled to the inside where you meet yourself for the first time. This was not who you expected to see. The other self has lost everything, but has found its way to be here at last on the inside of the world, ready for anything, no preferences, nothing to accomplish, nowhere really to go, just here in the fiber of existence, home free. So it's like the karmic degree is like the stress of like throwing ourselves into something and being so driven to make sure it gets done. And then we're moving into the energy where once we ascend, once we come into the higher self, we're just at peace with whatever is happening. We just allow ourselves to be led. Things, signs come up, opportunities come up, we meet people that help us along that pathway. And so just trusting. And, when ascending or like moving into the higher, vibration, it doesn't necessarily mean that nothing will come up that we would have found like upsetting. It's just that now we're at peace with it because we understand that it's leading us, he's saying, to a better destination, and trusting that what is meant to come forward is going to come forward and that it's going to benefit you. Also, like recognizing that you're worthy of a miracle right now is a good thing to say for anyone who's struggling. Instead of like when we're begging God, then it's like we're putting out to the universe that we need to beg. It's your divine birthright to have your needs met. It's your divine birthright to live in harmony with people around you, to be in harmonious relationship, to have a job that you love, to do what it is that you want to do, and to be able to earn income, to have resources there. So you can ask for that and just say, you know what, Creator, I know that I'm worthy of this. I believe that this is my divine birthright. Please bring that to me. Instead of us, panicking and, wondering what the heck is going to happen next kind of story. And I pulled those cards from Mary Magdalene's deck. It's the Magdalene Oracle Guidebook. I'll put this in the description box as well. So the first card that she brought me was Resurrection. Again, like dying to the old ways of ego and needing to be right, needing to push our opinions onto other people, getting involved or becoming fearful by what we're seeing playing out in reality, and rising from that lower vibration where we've been telling ourselves terrible things and now we feel terrible, and recognizing, like, just changing your thinking to, it's really benefiting me that this is happening. There's a way that those things are definitely benefiting. Even if you don't see it in the moment, you'll look back and say that, oh wow, I'm so grateful that happened. And so it's really, again, about this Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, changing our perception changing our thinking, the way that we look at things. And then when those things come up, instead of like suffering through it and struggling through it, we are above that energy. And the universe meets you where you are, where your vibration is. Everything around you is always reflecting to you what vibration you are in. If it's always strife around you, then that's always the inner struggle of the ego and the higher self kind of thing. The higher self doesn't really struggle, but the ego, you know, not wanting to give up the ghost is what she's saying. Okay. So this is Tony Carmine Salerno. It may seem like nothing is going your way at present. A vision, a plan, or dream seems to be fading beyond your reach, and this has left you feeling confused and disheartened. Yet remember that a higher force lovingly governs every event in your life. This force of light is your soul, which is full of infinite wisdom. The disappointment you presently feel is your soul's way of helping you to reassess your plan. Your dream is valid and sound, and you deserve to see it fulfilled. However, actualizing your dream may require a change of plan or approach. Check to see if the plan you have adopted truly aligns with your values and your heart. A new approach will soon become evident, an approach that will feel right in every way. So don't give up now. Keep an open mind and you will accomplish all you ever hope for. New inspirations are often born in the midst of despair, and sometimes we must surrender our old ways of thinking before a new way is possible. Okay. These cards are so fabulous. Like, I couldn't believe when I pulled these cards. I mean, that I happened to pull, I had done like one reading for myself, and then I pulled the cards for this reading. I was like, wow, that's pretty good. Mother Mary. I'm going to hold this up while I read this. Dearest one, I ask you to surrender the fear and anxiety you hold for a loved one's well-being. Trust. All will turn out for the highest good of all concerned. This current situation is simply part of your loved one's life experience and learning. A blessing eventually stems from this current event. Remember, at the heart of all creation, only love exists. Allow divine love to stir within your heart. Feel it move the earth and stars as the miracle of life forever unfolds. Have faith in the universal spirit of life and know that you and those dear to you are eternally protected. I shower your loved one with protection and healing light, so please do not worry. And another thing that's been coming up a lot in sessions is the mothers, more than the fathers, I think, feel responsible for their children's choices or for what is happening in their children's lives. You know, these are your soulmates, your brothers and sisters. They've been all things to you, and they had their own plan and their own path. And especially if they're born like after 1994, they've probably taken on quite a path. Okay, so just recognize that that's their soul's journey and it's not a reflection of you. Okay. And she's reminding me of that saying, Mother Mary's reminding me, what is it? You're only as happiest as your happiest child. Is that what it is? It's something like that. Like you can only be as happy as your or maybe it's your saddest child. Yeah. No, that doesn't help anyone. You know, I have a daughter, you know that I have a daughter with special needs that suffers every day. And if I stayed in that, which I did for years and years, it just led to smoking a lot of weed and wasting like a lot of time, you know, and because I was just so heartbroken for watching her suffer. It doesn't help her. And one of the first things that she said telepathically to, it was my teacher at the time years ago, she said, please tell my mother not to feel guilty. It just makes me feel bad. So don't take that on yourself. You know, we can support them in other ways than carrying their pain. okay, or worrying for their mistakes. I know I'm saying quite a few faces. So just allow yourself to be free of that. It doesn't help anyone to carry that. And she's saying that you hold no responsibility for your children's choices. Sophia. Someone dear to you needs your love and support at the moment. Perhaps even your forgiveness. Put aside any recent disagreements. Let it all go and make up. Deep down, you both know that you love each other. Life is too short to waste. Adopt a loving attitude, for love will heal all things. Honor and respect each other's differences. Individuality is sacred. You are both beautiful souls. Through love and forgiveness, a world of infinite possibility and contentment awaits you. You know, the way that we give away our power is blame. When, it's, like, oh, my ex-husband, did this and this to me. And, and I'm not saying that didn't happen. I could tell my own story with that too. But I know that I chose my life path. Okay. I see it in the astrology. Everything that worked, everything that happened it's in my astrology. And whoever had been standing there in his position, that would have been our story. It has nothing to do with the person. Okay. That's someone that you have a contract with to have that lesson. And most of the time, all of the time, it's because of a lesson that you gave another person. It's just coming back to you. So when we put that on someone else, you are giving away your power. And then we end up with none. And we're angry and resentful, which takes away even more of our power. And I wanted to talk about that too. All of the talk about like attachments and entities and implants. They're bringing up implants too. That's our own shadow. Like, I don't want to be the one to blow this scary, but I'm, scary Scorpio. I got a lot of Pluto happening, and I can tell you that that's your own shadow. It's always like a resentment that we've held on to for so long that it grew its own personality. That's what I always say. When I do like removing the stories with Metatron, I can feel the possessionals. A lot of times I don't like focus on them so much because they're just part of that story, and they all go when, we do the healings, when we do the story removals. There's nothing happening outside of you that's scary. Nothing can ever enter your energy without your soul's permission. And we carry these things through lifetimes. Nothing attacks us. When we're an innocent, fresh soul. It's just something that we've brought in from the past. It doesn't mean that there's anything bad about us or wrong with us. It's just simply like healing that through forgiveness and allowing yourself to take your power back through doing that. That was when Metatron woke me up and showed me like this amazing, I can't believe that I talk about this in public now, but I woke up one morning, like I just opened my eyes at 5:30 in the morning, and I was looking at a wall, and he was drawing in moving pictures, sort of like a cartoon, but there were no pages turning, but it was an animated drawing of what the things that were going to play out in my life. And that happened 5 hours after I literally got down on my face and forgave someone who had done something that I would have never thought I would forgive. I used to think like, well, they know that she did that. And then I realized oh, wait a minute. And I let it go and forgave. And that was what really made me. And then he said then I was able to take off like a rocket. Yeah. And then look at what was at the bottom of the deck, you guys. I love that she's in the magenta and gold. I hope it comes out on camera as magenta and gold. Mary Magdalene. Go forth and be true to yourself. Dare to be different, to make mistakes. Create, for it is in creation that you exist. In a world full of dreams that stem from your heart, in oneness, love, wonder and awe, softness and pain, joy and light. In the stillness, the unknown awaits, a void wanting to be filled. Step into it with courage and strength, like a budding rose reaching for the light. Love will lead you to greener pastures. Keep your pockets full of dreams, for a life is a test of faith. Allow your light to shine. There is no beginning or end. There is only love. Okay, that's nice. And then they asked me to read a quote from Rumi. Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you. And do not worry that your life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one to come? Okay, so we're just going to hold on, guys. Hold on. Because this is going to be like some stuff going on. Remember what Metatron said, like about everything going on in the United States. He said that we were in an energy, and I didn't even know what he was talking about. This was like the night before the story broke. He said we are in an energy of obstruction of justice. So try not to get too caught up in what's going on. That's because Jupiter and Saturn were parallel at the time. They've been parallel like pretty much the entire year. So that's almost kind of like a Jupiter and Capricorn kind of story. But yeah, so we don't know. We're just gonna sit back and watch it all play out. And yeah, so we're still in that energy though, where we're really looking to self-care and giving yourself the nurturing. She's saying, Mary Magdalene is saying, the attention that you deserve. The attention that you deserve. Tell your inner child, and Metatron always has me say this to clients. Now you're going to get, I'm the adult in charge, and now you're going to get all of the attention that you deserve. Say that to your inner child so that he or she feels safe and comforted and knows that someone cares, right? And someone's going to pay attention to them until you have that feeling of safety. All right? Yeah. Okay, guys, so it's really exciting energy coming online right now, and we're just going to wait and see what happens with all of it. All right, everybody, I will speak to you in a couple of weeks, and I'll be running like something for Christmas. I'm still working out the details of that with my scheduling service, so everybody take care. Sending you all so much love. And we're at the midway point of the Mercury retrograde, so won't be too much longer. Bye-bye.